Brothers and sisters, welcome back. This is the In My Grow Show, the podcast dedicated to taking the mystery out of cannabis. Once again, I'm Alex Robles. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to me talk about cannabis. Now, before I get started, I want to make a small correction. Last week, I talked about a town in Pennsylvania where the mayor signed a marijuana decriminalization ordinance into law. That town was Allentown, Pennsylvania. And if you don't remember, that mayor signed that ordinance into law, but the police said, you know what? We're going to continue enforcing state criminalization instead. Man. So like I said, Allentown, I feel for you guys. The mayor's trying to do right by you, but the cops don't care. Remember that, especially if you get to vote for your chief of police. Vote that guy out of there. Get somebody else. Okay, so let me turn down the music a little bit. So now that that's taken care of, what is next? I want to talk about something really local. Okay, there's going to be a cannabis clinic coming up. It is the Beginner's Guide to the Whole Plant. It's going to be Saturday, June 30th, 2018 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Ojai Valley Women's Club. That is 441 East Ojai Avenue in Ojai, California. General admission is $10. Students and seniors is $5. And this is presented by Sesame Creek Collective. You know, I'm a huge supporter of these kinds of clinics. Anything to help educate people who are new to cannabis. So if you're curious about cannabis and you're in the area, go over there and check it out. Once again, I'll have a link in the show notes for this event. So usually I'll do a what I'm smoking kind of segment. I'm going to change that to the strain of the week. And this week's strain is Magic Wand. And I didn't find too much information on it except that it's mostly a sativa-leaning hybrid. But you know what? I wasn't a fan. You know, it was too mellow. I like my sativas to help me keep that energy going. You know, I don't want to wake up in the morning, have coffee, have that first bowl, and then just flatline. Nope, wasn't a fan. I will be skipping that one. Alright, next we have the report from the Cannabis Front Line. Let's see. Federally, in Congress, the U.S. House Rules Committee, led by Prohibitionist Representative Pete Sessions, Republican from Texas, blocked multiple amendments related to marijuana from receiving consideration by the full House, thus ending their consideration and silencing the ability for the lower chamber to offer either legal protection or expanded access to veterans who use cannabis for therapeutic purposes. But contrasting that, members of the U.S. Senate Appropriations Committee approved a similar amendment to allow military veterans to get medical cannabis recommendations from Department of Veterans Affairs doctors and to protect them from being denied VA services because of their participation in state medical marijuana programs. Wow, well, that kind of makes me feel good, and then at the same time it doesn't because my government's working against itself. You know, I do think veterans should be allowed to use cannabis to help their pain. Wow. Yeah, write your representative, everybody. Let's talk about New York. Legislation is pending in both chambers, A9016 and S7564, to permit physicians to recommend cannabis therapy to those struggling with opioid abuse or dependence. Update. A9016 was approved by the Assembly on June 6th and now awaits action in the Senate Health Committee. That's awesome, New York. I hope it goes in a positive direction, especially for those people who are struggling with opioids. Next, in California, Assembly Bill 1793 seeks to allow automatic expungement or reduction of a prior cannabis conviction for an act that is not a crime as of January 1, 2017, or for a crime that as of that date subject to a lesser sentence. Update. AB 1793 was approved by the full Assembly on May 31st and now awaits action by the Senate Rules Committee. Well, that's great. I wonder when the Senate Rules Committee breaks for summer. I hope they haven't yet. Let's make a decision on that. Come on, guys. Also, Senate Bill 829 would exempt compassionate care programs from paying state cannabis taxes when they are providing free medical cannabis to financially disadvantaged people living with serious health conditions. Update SB 829 was approved by the Rules Committee unanimously and now awaits action from the Committee on Business and Professions. That's awesome, because cannabis isn't covered by insurance, man. At least not any insurance that I know of. So if they can help those organizations have less overhead, that's a great thing. Next, Louisiana Governor John Bell Edwards signed legislation into law permitting physicians to authorize cannabis therapy to those suffering from chronic pain, post-traumatic stress disorder, severe muscle spasms, autism, or glaucoma. Great news coming out of Louisiana. That is all I have for the report from the Cannabis Front Line, and once again, I got this information off of the NORML website. That is normal.org. Go over there, stay informed, become a member. There's a lot of information over there. Okay, brothers and sisters, I'm going to take a short break. I'm getting thirsty. I need to go get a drink of something. I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. Thank you for letting me take that break. So, when I went to the dispensary to get that magic wand flower, that magic wand bud that I talked about that I didn't really like, I also picked up a vape cartridge. It was the Super Silver Haze from Alpine, and it was, I think, the resin. At any rate, I've come to the conclusion that, vape cartridges really aren't good for me, for my throat, because they really dry out my throat a lot. So I can't, vape and then do the show, because then I'll just sit here and clear my throat the whole time. Well, maybe I'll try those PAX cartridges. Maybe those will be different. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Moving on. Next, we're going to talk about magnesium deficiency. Yes, that's right. I'm moving on to the secondary nutrients. Okay, so first of all, magnesium is a mobile nutrient, okay? So when you get a deficiency, yes, once again, since it's mobile, you're going to see it at the lower, older leaves first. It's pretty common, especially since we keep our, we try to pH our stuff below 7. So every once in a while, it'll spring up. And your plant really needs magnesium because it's one of those essential elements to make chlorophyll, which help the plant absorb light energy. So if it doesn't have enough magnesium, your plant's going to struggle. Some of the reasons why your plant may struggle to take up magnesium is maybe the soil is too wet or too cold. If it stays wet too long, that's why you should always let your soil dry out a little bit before you water again. Colder temperatures will also cause the plant to struggle to take up magnesium. If you have too much potassium, calcium, or nitrogen, that's going to cause magnesium lockout. That's going to cause the plant to lock it out so it won't absorb it. So the first symptoms you're going to see is probably yellowing in between the veins of the leaf. Interveinal chlorosis, they call it. That's when the leaf will turn yellow, but the veins will still be green. Then you're going to start to see these little brown spots, these little burn spots, or maybe burn spots, rust spots. And once again, this is going to start at the lower leaves. And those leaf tips are also going to start to burn up and curl. And eventually the whole leaf is just going to die off. So like anything, if you catch it early, you can treat it. You don't have to let the leaves and the plant die, because it will die if you don't figure it out. The quickest way that I've found to do it is to add Epsom salt to the water that I'm watering with. That's usually about 2 teaspoons per gallon of water. If you can, find Epsom salt that's made for plants. Some nurseries will carry it, some won't. So if you can, use the ones that are formulated for plants. If not, you can use the kind you get at the supermarket. And when you catch it early enough, you'll see the color come back to the leaves. The brown spots, the dead spots, those are dead spots. They're not going to come back. Neither are the dead tips. What's dead is dead. You can also foliar feed the Epsom salt in water. Just, put the Epsom salt water mixture in a spray bottle and spray away. On the flip side, if you do have too much magnesium, it will lock out calcium. And I would just water with the Epsom salt every watering until it corrected itself. And from then on, just to make sure the nutrients I use is going to have enough magnesium for what the plant needs. That's it. Those are all my notes for magnesium deficiency. If you have any questions, email me at inmygrow@gmail.com or find me on Instagram at inmygrow. Let's see, what else do I have on my notes? Oh, so I got a crazy email. So I got an email from the Emerald Cup, which is a cannabis event in Northern California. That doesn't happen until December. And they sent out this early bird email, and I was like, wow, that's really early bird. But I'm glad they sent it out, though, because now it really got me thinking about I should really get my tickets for that event, because it sounds like a great time. I didn't go last year. Things came up mostly with the podcast last year. But, that's neither here nor there. This year, though, I don't see why it wouldn't happen. All right. Let's go to the Emerald Cup, everybody. It's in December. Yeah, let me know if you're planning on going. All right, everyone. That's all I have for you today. Once again, thank you for showing up, hanging out, and listening to me. If this podcast has entertained you or educated you in any way, and you think it's worth $1 or $2 or $100, go to patreon.com and find In My Grow Show and support the show financially. That account on Patreon helps me pay for web hosting, pay for equipment. It helps me do a whole bunch of things. So if you can, support the show financially. If you can't, don't worry about it. Here's what you can do. Tell 3 other people about the show. That's it. Real easy. Well, like I said, that's it. Be cool and remember to grow, learn, and teach.